Theater as a unique medium for performance is just so rewarding, not just for the actors but for the audience as well. You're witnessing human emotion in real time. So if you're looking for something that's a really specific performance or a genuine moment in life, we're all looking for these genuine moments in life. Theater is really the place that you can get it. When you're doing film, you can keep running that scene until you get what you want. And there are fantastic people in the industry in film and TV that are, great editors and sound designers and all kinds of things that can make a scene really pop the way that a director envisions. But with theater, it's stripped all bare, and it's just the performance that's there. And that's true whether it's drama or comedy. The same is true of comedy. There's a certain magic of just improv that feeds off audience members that you can't get in other mediums. Writing for me actually started, like writing in general, probably started when I was in college, when I started writing D&D campaigns. That's how it started for me. Was my buddies needed somebody to run the game, and I said, okay, I can write it. And it starts off as like small little bad guy monologues, and then it develops and develops. And as far as playwriting specifically went, it's really just the encouragement of the rest of the Alchemy company members. We were sitting around, and somebody had an idea for something and said, somebody should write that. And I said, yeah, somebody should write that. I wonder if I could write that. And they're like, great, you're signed up. Now you're doing it. So I kind of fell into it, but as I started doing it felt good. It felt natural, certainly difficult, especially starting out. I had no idea what I was doing. I still don't, but that's the joy of writing as well, probably to explore and see what's there. And so now I enjoy it quite a lot. And all it really takes is somebody saying, hey, Jeff, we need you to write this play. It goes up in December, so get to it. It's just a deadline that I need, really, is what lights the fire under me. Yeah, I've got probably like 5 other plays that I have partial pieces of. I have one that's like halfway written. And I have other ones that are, just bits and pieces. I have a musical that I'm working on that like I have one song for. But yeah, eventually life gets busy, and if it's not your full-time job, it's tough to keep up with it, find inspiration. My process when I create a play is to sit down and think of, okay, what is the message, or what is the direction that I want this story to go, and kind of write that down as a thesis statement on the top of the page and say, these are the things that I'm trying to say, or this is what I want the audience to take away. And then I do a lot of research on my characters. So I'll get a cast of characters that I feel like are necessary to exist in the plot. And then I start creating all of them pretty fleshed out, so that when I really start putting dialogue in the scene, I'll say, this scene has to do this scene has to go here, this scene has to go here. And I get that outline. That will change drastically throughout the writing process. But at least I know my characters well enough fairly early on that I can kind of just put them on the page and let them naturally get their way to these beat points that I have to hit. And sometimes that works out well, and then sometimes you realize none of the characters that I have on stage right now would willingly move towards this moment, or even if it is about conflict, there are too many things that are out of character. Maybe I need to introduce a character, or maybe I need to go back and make a mental note of like, hey, make sure this character mentions this later. But I try to keep pushing all the way through, and because I've heard from many writers, just keep writing, just put it on. A first draft is better than no draft, even if it's terrible. So we find ourselves with that with Butler Monologues too. It was pretty well received the first time, but it was also only a second draft, and so I've got another crack at it now. The way that Alchemy conducts and gets things done in theaters is mostly just from our our board members and company members who are members of the theater community at large. So I only know Brian because I've done stuff at the Maverick. My wife has done stuff at the Maverick. When we were doing things at stages, same thing. We had some board members and myself. We had just done things at the theater. So we are participants in the theater community at large. And once people get to know us and know what our hopes and dreams and aspirations are, we are very lucky that we have a theater community that is so supportive of that. So, we work at stages, we work at the Maverick and, Costa Mesa or any of these theaters and say, oh yeah, well, we own a theater too. And they'll say, well, when are you doing another show? I'm like, well, we don't have a theater. So that's a tough part of it. So we look around and everything. And a lot of time these theaters will say, well, we'll rent the space out to you. When do you want it? Let's figure a way out to do this. And it's so humbling and heartwarming that they're able to help us out in that way. We wouldn't survive with our theater community. And so we also try to give back as much as we can. We have a Alchemy app program. So anytime any Alchemy member is seeing another show anywhere, we throw it up on Instagram and say, we're at, Costa Mesa Playhouse seeing, Rent or whatever's going on. So we try and be supportive of the community as we can because they've supported us so much. Alchemy is unique in the sense that we don't do shows unless we want to. That is, very unique in that we don't have a lot of overhead. We have a rehearsal space. We don't have a theater, which is a little odd too. Most theaters have their theater space and they rehearse there. They don't have somewhere else that they can go rehearse. So, we try to be supportive that way as well. So we're unique in that we have the drive and the ambition to do all these things. We just need a home, and we're still working on it. But we're also unique in that we don't stop innovating. We always have new folks coming in with great ideas, and I'm really happy for our new company members who bring a fresh perspective to what we're doing. We are part theater that is doing the classics. We do Summer Shakespeare every single year. And then we want to do new works, and then we do Drinksphere, so we're kind of hitting all the gamuts of what theater can be. We want to engage with our community. That's just one of our biggest things, is to be ingrained in the culture and the society that reflects the culture and society that we're with. So, when we're at a bar, we do Drinksphere. When we're in the park doing Summer Shakespeare, we try and bring as much of that festival type atmosphere to the show that we can. We always want to be a reflection of what we do and how we do theater. So we are very dedicated to getting new works done, but I will say, other than Cyrano and Butler Monologues, I think we've only maybe done 2 other new works. So we want to keep working towards that. We probably wouldn't be doing Butler Monologues if it hadn't done so well last time. Honestly, it would have been a cool, Jeff got a show done and moving on. But it did very, very well. So we're happy to try it again. Not that it didn't do, that it needs to be tried. We're not reinventing the wheel here. It's hopefully just a good show. The theater is just so important, not just to me, but to, a collective group of people just in the community. It's a place to go. It is a hub to explore humanity. And I really think the only way that you get to embrace your fellow man and people that are different from you is being exposed to ideas and folks and perspectives that you're not privy to in your daily life. And theater is just a great place for that. So I think that's so important. And yeah, the ticket sales don't cover the bills most of the time. I can't think of any many theaters that are able to sustain themselves. So usually it's, Maverick's one of them that is able to sustain themselves. Otherwise, most of these theaters need help from the cities, and that's why they're often named after the cities that they're in. And it's just tough. It's really tough out there. But I will say, that a little bit goes a long way. Especially doing my research with trying to get a space, is that if every single resident in a city just donated $5 a month, we could have a magnificent theater, a place where you can bring the kids for after school programs, a place for dance recitals, music, not just theater. I mean, cities can host their own like events in the space. It's just so important, and there's so much red tape when it comes to city organized funds and things like that. Like, we want to work in some spaces, but they're owned by cities, and they say, okay, well, the rental is $5,000 for the weekend, and we're like, okay, and you can only run one weekend, and it's like, well, we've already spent $10,000 on just being able to do the show at all. We're never going to make the money back. So it's important that people donate. If you have a local theater, just donate a little bit. Even if you did $5 a year, that theater would be immensely happy. Stop by with, instead of taking clothes to the Goodwill, if you have some like fancy prom dresses and things, theaters need those. Go to high school theater programs. Just anything is a great boon to us, and I don't think you'll find a theater that will turn their noses up at it. We all need a little bit of help, because most of us are just doing it for the love of the game. So this is Jeff Lowe with Alchemy Theater Company. Please support your local theaters, support any theater. Make sure you're getting out there and make sure you're letting them know that you love them, online, in person, any way that you can. Theater is one of the most important resources that we have, and we want to keep it going for as long as entertainment and the human spirit exists. So please support Alchemy Theater, support local theater. We'll see you in the theater.